Chapter 2 of God Died at 3 o'clock by Reverend Gerald T. Brennan. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Maria Therese. Chapter 2 The Garden. The traitor is gone. He will never return to the company of the apostles. For Judas, the Last Supper will always be an hour of shame. Sadly, Jesus looks on the empty place at the table, the place of Judas. Then he turns his eyes to the other apostles. There are only 11 of them now. Judas is gone. But Jesus still has Peter and Peter's brother, Andrew, and James and John, also brothers. Still faithful to him are Philip, Bartholomew, Matthew, Thomas, and Simon, and 2 more brothers, Jude and the other James. Christ smiles at these friends, his apostles. These are the men who must build the church, who must carry his story to the ends of the earth. These are the men, poor, frightened men, who must suffer in his name. The apostles listen as the Master begins to speak to them. First he gives them sorrowful news. Soon, he says, he will leave them, but he will come back. No, the apostles cannot go with him. He is going to his Father in heaven, and he must go alone. Next, Christ warns them of what will happen to them. Because they are his apostles, they will have to suffer many times. But he promises that their sorrow shall be turned into joy, great joy. The apostles are disturbed and they grow more frightened when Christ tells them that an hour of great danger is come. The apostles need encouragement, and Christ gives it to them. They should not worry too much, he says, about the troubles that the world will bring to them. "Have hope," he urges. "I have overcome the world." To the apostles, the Master's words are full of mystery. Their minds are weary and confused from trying to understand. At last Jesus rises. Looking toward heaven, he raises his arms. "O Father," he speaks, "I have finished the work that you gave me to do." He prays for himself. He prays for the apostles. He prays for the church. The supper is over. It is almost midnight. It is time to go. Jesus leads the way down the narrow steps, and the apostles follow. They do not know where Jesus is going at this hour of the night, but they follow the Master silently. Jerusalem is asleep, but not Jesus and his 11 apostles. The little group hurries through the streets of the city, and few words are spoken. They pass through the eastern gate and walk along the rough, narrow path that brings them to the brook of Cedron. They cross the bridge and come to a garden of olive trees. A stone wall surrounds the garden. This is the Garden of Olives. Jesus stops at the gate. He waits for the apostles to gather around him before he speaks. "Sit here while I go inside to pray." The apostles are tired. They have walked for almost half an hour, and they are anxious to rest. Without saying a word, the men obey Christ and sit on the ground. Jesus walks through the gate into the garden. He turns and motions to Peter, James, and John to follow him. The 3 apostles ask no questions. Tonight they want to be close to Jesus. They jump to their feet, walk into the garden, and keep a short distance behind the Master. Suddenly, Jesus turns and faces the 3 men. The soft moon lights his face. He seems very sad. "My soul is full of sorrow," he says. "Stay here and watch with me." The apostles nod their heads. The sadness of Christ worries them. They wish to talk to him, but the words do not come. Jesus has no need of words from the apostles. They cannot help him. Only he knows the terrible thing that is about to happen, and he must face it alone. Turning away from the 3 apostles, Jesus walks a little farther into the garden and falls upon his knees in prayer. As he prays, he is seized by a great sorrow. He falls forward on his face, flat to the ground. So awful is this sorrow that even drops of blood trickle down his face. Is the strong Christ afraid to die for sinners as he promised? Does some picture of the world's sins rise up before him to sicken his pure soul? What brings this agony to Christ? Jesus is fighting against a great temptation. This is what crushes him with grief. Here in this corner of the Garden of Olives, Jesus thinks about all these people who will never love him. He sees all those sinners who will never care about him. Even though he will offer to forgive them, many sinners will turn their backs on him and walk away. This picture of ingratitude is the thing that is breaking the heart of the good Christ. He has come into the world to die for sinners, but he sees that many sinners will not care very much whether he died or not. Jesus is tempted to flee silently from the garden and leave this world of cold hearts to take care of itself. But he fights against this temptation. He prays to his Father to take away this terrible thought, but only if it is his Father's will. He staggers to his feet and comes to the 3 apostles. They are asleep. Peter awakes to hear the Master ask him, "Can you not watch 1 hour with me?" Now James and John are also awake. They see Christ's tired face marked with the bloody lines of suffering. They wonder. "Pray that you do not enter into temptation," says Christ to the 3 as he turns and walks slowly back to the place where he has been praying. Soon the apostles drop into sleep again. Here in the moonlit garden only Jesus is awake, suffering and praying, "Father, not my will, but your will be done." A second time Jesus comes to find the apostles asleep, and they are too ashamed to speak to him. Leaving them, Christ returns to prayer and offers his life for all sinners. Once more Peter, James, and John awake to find Christ standing before them. He is strong and calm again, but the apostles hear noises on the road leading to the garden. They see lights moving through the darkness, and they are afraid. "Who comes at this hour to the garden?" they ask. "He who will betray me is here," answers Jesus, and he watches as the lights bringing the traitor come closer to the garden. End of chapter 2.